One of my sisters had a huge issue with not being included in the planning and even told me it wouldn't be good unless she was involved. In response, I received a letter on expensive stationery, no less, accusing me of villainizing her and manipulating her son against her. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of me reacting to your wedding stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. We've got 2 stories for you today, but first, a little shout out and thank you for everyone that has ordered their copy of Here Comes the Drama, a Ferris and Sloan story. It's been so fun getting your DMs, your comments, and your reviews. It means so much to me. So starting off, I'm going to read a review that I got last month. It says, so much fun to read this. I love Christa Innes' skits, and this book adds some great additional details to the stories from the videos. I'm glad I started to read it on the weekend because I stayed up until I finished it. Can't wait to see the books on seasons 2 and 3 of Ferris and Sloan. So thank you, Vicky, for your review. And I'm so excited for more of you guys to read more because I've got more coming for you. As I announced earlier last week, I've started working on book number 2. So if you haven't gotten your copy of Here Comes the Drama, a Ferris and Sloan story, you're going to want to get it. I have the links below where you can get it at Amazon, Kobo, Ingram Spark, Barnes & Noble, and many others. All right, without further ado, let's get into this week's story. Story number 1. My proposal was both funny and amazing. My partner and I are very private people, so a big proposal was out of the question for both of us. One of my sisters had a huge issue with not being included in the planning and even told me it wouldn't be good unless she was involved. Way to make a proposal about you, okay? However, she also told my partner that it had to be grand and photographed. No, it doesn't, but okay. So he planned a big one with her and said he would let her know when he was ready. But he actually had other plans. Okay, I like this. It was Thanksgiving in Vegas. It was about 35 degrees out. We drove up to our favorite spot overlooking the city where we could both see the stars. When it came time to propose, he started sweating and turned red in the cheeks. Being the concerned girlfriend, I started to freak out and ask what was wrong. He said nothing. Then he started to go down on one knee. Knowing I'm old school, and I grabbed him thinking he was collapsing. Oh my gosh. I panicked and said we needed to get to the hospital. Whoa, he must have really been flourished if he started to think he was actually collapsing. He needed to go to the hospital. That's when he said, I'm trying to propose to you. Calm down. And pulled out a ring he'd been hiding for over 2 weeks. When we told my family a week later, my sister was angry. And my parents said it wasn't right because she didn't get her own year for her proposal just 2 months earlier. Wait, what? Okay, so first the sister is trying to control how he proposes to her sister and saying it has to be this big thing even though they're very private people. So I thought she was going to be more mad about that. But now the parents are saying, no, she needs her own wedding proposal year. That is crazy. That is bonkers. Like anyone that I truly support and care about, and if I wasn't close to them, I wouldn't care either. But that just doesn't make sense because anyone that I'm close to and care about, I would be more than thrilled to have them engaged the same year as me. I don't think you get like rights to a whole year or a month or anything. Like, sure, don't do it on the same day or the same week maybe. But honestly, like I was the one that wouldn't care about that. It seems a little weird that the parents were like, no, you needed to wait the next year. We don't know anything about these 2 relationships. We don't know who was together longer. We don't know the relationship with the parents, but just from this alone, I'm like, that's asking too much here. Okay, the wedding itself was chaos. My mom mentioned my other sister's upcoming wedding during her speech. So it sounds like they got engaged after, but the wedding was before. I wonder if that was like a whole issue too. The caterer showed up almost 2 hours late, and it was 89 degrees Fahrenheit when the forecast said 63. Whoo! In the middle of January at our outdoor wedding. I want to know where they live. 89 degrees in the middle of January. Wow, that's like unheard of where I'm from. Okay, one of the groomsmen nearly collapsed and I almost got heat stroke. Yeah, if you're expecting 63, that's a big difference. But hey, we made it through. I can like picture that. I always picture these out as like stories now, but like I can picture that. The very dramatic proposal where you think he's passing out turned to the wedding being a little dramatic too. But all in all, sounds like it all went well. Okay, story number 2. Our initial proposal got rained out along the Washington Monument. Ever since then, my mother-in-law's mood has shifted. She's been trying to plan the perfect wedding, at least perfect in her eyes. She had multiple marriages that didn't last, and now it feels like she's trying to live vicariously through me. She even once said she wanted to pursue the same career path I'm currently working toward in my education and residency hours. So this is a very common theme we see where parents are very overbearing in the wedding planning process, might have some kind of regret or something that didn't go right in their own wedding. And that's, of course, making a lot of assumptions there. There's obviously control involved as well. But if you can't allow someone to create their own day and just support them, then there are some other issues there. I've never hated her, but at this point, I'm experiencing serious compassion fatigue. Our wedding is in the fall, and there's always something she's complaining about, so much that she once made her own son cry. I wrote her a letter to gently set some boundaries. Hey, props to you. That's amazing. And asked her to stop berating her son. Yeah, that's probably a good start. In response, I received a letter on expensive stationery, no less, accusing me of villainizing her and manipulating her son against her. See, that's what happens when the son cannot speak up for himself and set those boundaries. Then the wife has to come in and be the bad guy. She's then accused of villainizing or causing a barrier, when in fact she's just speaking up and doing what the son needs or wants, right? We see this happen all the time in these stories, and it's sad because it's then the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, when in reality, they love the same person, obviously in different ways, but they should all come together and help each other. I've never had an issue with their relationship. He's her only son, but apparently she secretly resented me for years. She even tried to derail my mom's bridal shower to throw her own version. That's interesting. Typically, I feel like families just come together and have one bridal shower, but I have heard here and there where in-laws don't get along with the parents and they throw separate ones, which I feel like is just a bad starting point. Like, you can't get along for an hour or two at a shower. We've got bigger issues. At this point, I don't understand why she argues so much about finances when she's clearly favoring her side of the family over mine. She claims it's her tradition to have a recession, saying it's the only thing she's asked for. Yet she lies and hasn't contacted my parents about anything wedding related. The only time she's reached out was to ask for money, essentially acting like a loan shark on a price she's never cleared with them. They had to take out a loan just to cover it. There's a lot of details missing here, and I'm very confused at this part. It says she wants to have a recession. I'm not sure what that means. Recessional reception? Maybe there's a typo. So it sounds like there's a lot of communication errors with both families, and this is still coming up. So maybe we can get some more information. If you're watching or listening, please reach out and give us some more context to this. I would love to know more about what's going on. Also, the parents taking out a loan to cover what the other mom's asking for. After the wedding, we're planning to cut contact with her entirely. Okay, I need more details. There's a lot that's missing here, a lot of emotions, a lot of miscommunication. What happened that's causing them to want to cut contact with her? Wow. Okay, that's all I'm getting. All right, well, that's all I have for this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye now.